Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something that definitely grabs attention online. Lifetime VPN subscriptions. You know, that idea of paying once for ongoing privacy, it sounds pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really strong hook, isn't it? Pay once, forget recurring bills, stay secure. What's not to like?
Exactly. But is it really that simple? That's what we want to figure out today. Our listeners want the real story, without getting bogged down and
Yeah,
maybe have that aha moment about these deals.
definitely. And to guide us, we're leaning on this analysis from Symlex VPN. They've really dug into lifetime subscriptions, even compared a few. Gives us a good starting point.
Okay, so our mission then is to unpack these lifetime VPNs, sort through the hype, get to the substance so you can actually decide if it's right for you. And I guess the first big question is, what is a lifetime VPN really?
Yeah, that's the absolute key. When they say lifetime, you need to know it means the lifetime of the service, the company, not not your lifetime.
Right, okay. So if the VPN company goes bust,
Then your lifetime deal ends right there. Exactly.
and is that common? Does that actually happen?
Well, according to this Symlex analysis, it's more common than you might think. They found that over half of the lifetime VPN services they tracked over the years just vanished.
Wait, half? Seriously?
Half, yeah. It's a pretty shocking number.
Wow. I can only imagine. You think you're set for life, and then poof, this lifetime VPN just disappeared with my money. You can almost hear people saying that.
Exactly. That phrase captures the frustration, and the analysis mentions even tech-savvy people got caught out. They thought they were being smart, saving money.
It really shows how powerful that lure of a one-time payment is,
Mhm.
which, let's be honest, is the main draw, right? The cost savings.
That's number one, for sure.
Mm.
Pay once, avoid those monthly or yearly fees that add up. The analysis breaks down like a typical annual plan might be $60 to $120 a year.
Okay.
Whereas a lifetime deal, they say, averages maybe $150 to $450 one time.
So, doing the quick math, you could break even in, what, maybe 2 to 4 years? And after that, it's pure savings,
So
theoretically.
that's the idea. That's the big hook. And, besides the money, there's the convenience factor too.
Ah, convenience. How so?
Well, think about it. No renewal dates to remember. No surprise credit card charges. You're kind of locked in against future price increases.
That does sound nice. No fuss.
Yeah, and no service interruptions if a payment fails or a card expires. It's sort of set it and forget it.
Okay, that aspect is definitely appealing. But are you actually getting the core VPN protections you'd expect, like encryption and all that?
Generally, yes. The analysis confirms most lifetime VPNs do cover the basics. Encrypting your data, hiding your IP address, protection on public Wi-Fi, and usually getting around geo-blocks too, the standard stuff.
What about using it on multiple gadgets, our phones, laptops?
Yeah, that's usually covered too. Many lifetime plans support, Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, sometimes even routers, browser extensions. Pretty standard multi-device support.
Okay, so potential savings, convenience, basic features.
Hmm.
It sounds okay so far. The Symlex analysis mentioned some specific costs.
It did. It gave a range, like fastest VPN apparently around $40 lifetime, which is wow.
$40 lifetime.
Yeah. Then VPN Unlimited around $200. And Symlex VPN's own offer, they list at about $450. So quite a spread.
Definitely a big difference there.
And what's also interesting is who doesn't offer them. Big names like NordVPN, Surfshark, PIA, CyberGhost, ExpressVPN. They tend to stick to multi-year plans, not lifetime.
That is telling, isn't it?
Yeah.
If the big established players are steering clear, it makes you wonder why. Which probably leads us right into the reality check part of the analysis, the limitations and risks. This is where it gets interesting, I bet.
This is exactly where it gets interesting, because to make that one-time payment model work, compromises often have to be made somewhere. And one big area is features.
Okay, what kind of features might be missing or, like, not updated?
Well, often the more advanced stuff. Things like double VPN for extra routing or built-in ad blockers, split tunneling, choosing what goes through the VPN. Those features often get added or improved regularly in subscription plans because there's ongoing revenue, lifetime plans, maybe not so much incentive to keep adding things.
Right, that makes sense. Pay once, maybe get fewer updates down the line. What about the server network?
Yeah.
The number of servers, locations.
Yeah, that's another common difference. Lifetime VPNs often have, well, smaller server fleets, fewer countries available compared to the big subscription services that are constantly expanding their global reach.
And fewer servers could mean slower speeds, right?
Yeah.
Maybe trouble accessing stuff in certain regions.
Absolutely. More crowded servers, maybe not a server in the country you need. It can definitely impact performance and access. And another critical point is security updates.
Ooh, okay. That sounds crucial. How do they handle keeping things secure over time?
The analysis suggests updates can be, well, infrequent, less regular than subscription models, which means over time, vulnerabilities could pop up and not get patched quickly.
Hmm. So you might be using outdated security protocols without even knowing it. That's a pretty big risk.
It really is. Subscription services usually push out patches and updates constantly to deal with new threats. And related to that is just overall performance, speed, reliability.
How does that stack up?
Again, potentially a trade-off. Lifetime deals might mean older, less optimized infrastructure compared to services reinvesting subscription money into faster servers and better tech.
Okay. And what about when things go wrong? Customer support.
That's often another area where you might see limitations. Slower response times, maybe no 24/7 live chat, which is pretty standard for many subscription providers now.
Right. So, okay, that initial price looks great, but you really need to weigh these potential downsides. Features, speed, security updates, support. It's a lot to consider. So, if someone's still tempted, what should they look for? How can you try to pick a potentially okay lifetime deal? The analysis had some tips, right?
It did. Good actionable stuff. First off, reputation and history. Really dig into the provider. Look for companies that have actually been around for a while, say at least 5 years. That suggests some stability.
Okay, longevity is a good sign. What else?
Check for transparency. Do they publish warrant canaries?
Right.
Have they had independent security audits done by, reputable firms? That's huge. And look beyond their own website. See what users are saying on multiple independent review sites. Consistent feedback is key.
Makes sense. Due diligence on the company itself.
Yeah.
What about the tech specs? Which should you verify?
You definitely want to confirm strong encryption like AES 256. That's table stakes. Also, check for modern protocols. WireGuard, OpenVPN are good signs. A kill switch is essential, cuts your internet if the VPN drops, so you don't leak data.
Right, kill switch, definitely.
And split tunneling can be really useful. Plus, make sure they explicitly state they protect against DNS leaks, IPv6 leaks, WebRTC leaks, all potential ways your real IP could be exposed.
Okay, those are the technical check boxes. How about checking performance? Can you test it beforehand?
Ideally, yes. The analysis suggests trying to benchmark it. Test your speed without the VPN, then with it connected to different servers. See how consistent it is, especially during busy times. And if you need it for streaming or P2P, definitely test that specifically.
Good practical tip. Try before you buy, essentially. What about the contract and money side? Any safeguards there?
Definitely look for at least a 30-day money-back guarantee. That gives you a safety net. And read the terms of service carefully. Understand exactly what lifetime means according to them and any limitations. And be super wary of those crazy low prices or limited time deals that seem to run forever, often a red flag.
Speaking of red flags, the analysis listed some specific warning signs, didn't it? Things that should make you pause.
Absolutely. Number one, suspiciously low pricing, like under $100 for lifetime. That's tough to sustain. The analysis mentions that fastest VPN deal around $40 and notes reports of outages, poor support, spotty speeds. It often follows the you get what you pay for rule.
Right, that price just seems too good to be true, doesn't it? What else signals trouble?
Lack of transparency about the company, no clear physical address, no names of who's in charge, murky legal jurisdiction, sketchy registration, big warning signs.
If they're hiding who they are.
Exactly. You're trusting them with your data. Same goes for technical details. If they're vague about encryption, servers, protocols, how they handle your data, that lack of transparency is worrying.
Makes sense. If they aren't open about the tech, maybe the tech isn't great. What about those flashy marketing claims?
Yeah, be skeptical. 100% anonymity guaranteed. Probably not possible. Fastest speeds ever. Prove it. Vague military-grade security means nothing specific. 0 logs without an independent audit. Questionable. These are often just buzzwords, not real guarantees.
So, healthy skepticism is key. Don't fall for the hype. Now, the analysis we're using from Symlex VPN actually looked at their own lifetime offer. What did it say about that?
Right. They included themselves. They positioned their lifetime plan at $450, marked down from a higher price. They list features like AES 256, cross-platform apps, kill switch, load balancing, split tunneling, regular updates, and up to 5 connections at once.
Okay, standard features list.
Yeah.
What about trust signals for Symlex itself?
The analysis points to their ratings on places like Trustpilot, Google Play, the App Store apparently quite high, and mentions in media outlets.
Yeah.
Using those as indicators of a decent reputation.
But it wasn't just a sales pitch, right? The analysis still posed questions about Symlex, even though they wrote it.
Exactly. It raised the kind of questions anyone should ask, like how long has Symlex actually been operating? Have they had independent security audits? How transparent is their company info, really? How big is their server network? Do they own their servers or rent them? These are critical questions for any provider, including themselves.
That's good practice. Even when looking at the source's own offering, keep asking the hard questions. Okay, so pulling this all together, what's the strategic advice for someone listening? How should they approach this?
I'd say first step, really clarify your own needs. What's your main goal with a VPN? Is it hardcore privacy, unblocking streaming sites, just basic security on cafe Wi-Fi, performance for gaming? Knowing your priority helps judge if a lifetime deal with its potential limits will actually work for you long term.
Right, tailor the choice to your specific use case.
Well,
What's next?
test drive it if possible. If they offer a monthly plan, maybe try that first. See how it really performs day to day on your devices. Test their customer support with a real question. Don't just jump into a lifetime commitment blind.
Smart. A small investment upfront could save you a bigger headache later. Are there alternatives? Like a middle ground between monthly and lifetime?
Definitely. Look at those multi-year plans from the big established providers. You often get a really good discount compared to paying monthly, but with a company that has a proven track record for updates and support. Also, look for plans with prorated refunds or price locks, which offer some flexibility or predictability without the lifetime gamble.
Okay, so multi-year deals might be that sweet spot for many. Any final thoughts on weighing the lifetime option itself?
Yeah, think about the total cost of ownership. Not just the upfront price, but what you might miss out on over, say, 5 years, continuous improvements, new security tech, and weigh the risk. What's the chance the service declines or even disappears? Factor that potential cost in.
Really important points. So let's try to sum up this deep dive. Lifetime VPNs. Tempting cost savings, yes, but they come with real potential trade-offs. Features, performance, long-term viability, all questionable sometimes.
Exactly. They might work for someone on a tight budget with very basic needs who understands and accepts those risks.
But if you really prioritize privacy, need the latest tech, travel a lot, stream heavily, or rely on it for critical security.
Then a standard subscription from a reputable, well-reviewed provider is probably the safer, more reliable bet in the long run.
That seems like a clear takeaway. Do your research, test if you can, and be realistic about what lifetime truly means in this fast-moving tech world.
Well said. It's about informed choices, not just chasing the lowest price tag.
Okay, and to leave you with something to think about, when you consider a lifetime of protection in a digital world that's constantly changing, look beyond today's cost. What future innovations, what new security challenges might that lifetime deal simply not be equipped to handle down the road? Something to really chew on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.